So this was my thing, because I was sitting there like the first 20 minutes into the movie, right? I says to myself, I gotta write a script about this. And then like 30 minutes into the movie, I said, I've already written this script about 4, 5, 6 different times. You know what I mean? I think the part that a lot of people is going to miss is that this movie, and a lot of, to me, it really, and I was saying this to my wife, that really is, to me, is just one long love letter to the blues, to keep it a buck. That's really what it is. So obviously the Robert Johnson and the whole movie, you feel me? If you know about the whole, Crossroads legend and whatever and whatnot, what have you. Robert Johnson, John Lee Hooker, um, who else? They Muddy Waters. Pretty much, you can pretty much just pull right. The Buddy Guy was literally at the in the in was literally in the mid credit scene. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm gonna ask y'all this. So, and this is when I knew. This is when I really knew what the movie was about, right? Um, so when when they was rolling into town, right? Um, the Business Brothers Smoke. Yeah, Lil Water, Sun House, Lil Walter. I meant to say, basically any one of them Delta blues niggas that went up to Chicago at some point. It's a whole blue. It's a matter of fact, it's a blues standard called Going Up to Chicago. If you play blues guitar, that's like one of a handful of songs that everybody that play blues guitar know how to play Going Up to Chicago. You know what I mean? Um so uh let me ask y'all this. Anybody know the song that was playing when Smoke was riding into town for the first time? Let me see if chat knows what that song is. Bingo, Coco got it. It's Wang Dang Doodle. And Wang Dang Doodle is a Howlin' Wolf song. And most Howlin' Wolf's like standard song that everybody knows is Smokestack Lightning. Oh, Smokestack Lightning. So then I said, "Yup, I see. I see what you did, movie." I know John Lee Hooker's story is that a lot of them blues cats is that John Lee Hooker's story is that no, that's on my end. That's not on your end. That pausing and stuttering. John Lee Hooker's story is that he grew up listening and playing spirituals. You know what I mean? And I said that in the Black Church video, right? And I will die on this hill, is that the best musicians, the best singers, all grow up in church. They all grow up in church, and then they go left at some point. You feel me? The best, the vast majority of the best. That's why I say, like, a lot of the and people, a lot of the I it's obviously this is anecdotal, but it's not a coincidence to me that you know a lot of modern R&B has kind of lost its soul, so to speak. Um, everybody is a whisper singer. Everybody, um, there ain't no singers no more. You feel me? Don't nobody sing. Don't nobody sing like Whitney did. You feel me? I mean, probably the best, but I mean, she she not no spring chicken. Is Brandy. You feel me? Is a singer. You dig what I'm saying? This is no shade. Well, I mean, it kind of is shade, but this is no shade, to SZA and Kalani, and you feel me, and to Tim's and all of them. But they ain't no singers. You feel me? Y'all know what a singer is, right? Um, and I feel like a big part of that because they ain't grow up in church. You feel me? They ain't grow up. You feel me? I say this all the time, is that the best vocal coach that I ever had was when I was a little 6, 7, 8-year-old boy named Mother Elsa Ruth Thompson. It's the best vocal coach I ever had. I promise you. So I say all of that to say I don't think that it's a coincidence that people are saying what happened to R&B? Where did R&B go? And don't nobody go to church no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that that's a coincidence. You feel me? That's just me personally. I don't feel like that's a coincidence. You know what I mean? But anyway, there's a very the blues is just the blues is gospel. Gospel is the blues spiritually, not literally spiritually, not in terms of or Fantasia. Yes, Fantasia most definitely. Not theologically speaking, but just the heart of it, the soul of it. You understand what I'm saying? The feeling of 1,000 dead ancestors singing along with you. You understand what I'm saying? And I found it interesting. I found it interesting and found it appropriate. Having the vampires be Irish, right? For a couple of reasons. One, the obvious one, the one that y'all going to see get think piece to death, right? The one that y'all going to see all the YouTube videos get made about is the fact that historically the Irish have historically occupied that poor white trash position in the racial hierarchy, right? The Irish are historically basically niggas. You know what I mean? And the Irish were the overseers, and then eventually that led to them. So that's the part that you're going to see get think piece to death. But the part you're not going to get, you see that because the banjo is a West African instrument, right? And so you get a lot of integration between Irish music and Black music to create modern, well, not modern, but American folk music. You understand what I'm saying? Bluegrass comes from traditional Irish folk music. You dig what I'm saying? Country western music, as much as it's influenced by Black folks, is just as much influenced by the Irish. Now, see, that's the thing. The Scots Irish, they weren't, again, they were niggas. They weren't plantation owners. They were overseers. You understand what I'm saying? The Anglo Americans, you feel me? The English white folks, they was too good to be bothered with their slave population. So that's what they got. That's what they got the Irish for. They said, we'll pay you a little bit of money and give you a fraction of power. You feel me? So we can so we don't gotta be bothered with them Black folks. The only real instance where that didn't happen was in the Low Country. You feel me? Was in South Carolina and the Sea Isles and whatever and whatnot. Cause ain't nobody want to go out in them swamps. You feel me? Mess with the mosquitoes and get malaria and whatever and whatnot. So they basically left them niggas to themselves. You dig what I'm saying? And that's why when you go down there, you feel me? The Gullah and the Geechee people, they matter of fact, they language, the way that that scene stuck with me, right? Because I have always saw parallels between jigging. I don't know if that's what y'all call it. But Irish jigs and ring shouts. You feel me? If y'all any of y'all who grew up in church already know what I'm talking about. That's what a praise break is. You dig what I'm saying? Shouting, praise breaking, whatever you want to call it. You feel me? All of that is survivals from Africa, which became which was in Africa, and then here became the ring shout. Then all we did was just put, Christianity over top of it and called it shouting. You know what I mean? And I always saw, even as a kid, I always saw like the parallels between the two, right? So I thought that it was appropriate, especially at the end. Oh man, that scene gave me chills when again, this is a spoiler stream. So if you didn't see the movie, right? If you didn't see the movie, click off. I thought that it was a powerful scene where Sammy starts praying the Lord's Prayer, and old boy starts praying it back to him and making the point that, you feel me, I feel like that was the point that he was. I couldn't, because it was loud as all get out in that theater, man. I could barely hear as loud as it was. But I think that was the point that he was trying to make, is that the person who gave him that curse is also the ones who gave them that prayer. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a powerful scene, especially, you feel me, with the integration of Asian folk in it, because really, when you get it all comes back to assimilation, right? That's basically the whole point that the vampires is trying to make, is that, you feel me, y'all been trying to do it on your own for so long. You dig what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Is the whole, and that's what I was talking about earlier about this whole movie. To me, is just, it's a love letter to the blues, right? Because what attracts, what ultimately winds up attracting the vampires, what winds up attracting the parasites, right? What winds up attracting, you feel me, the evil spirits, is the music. You feel me? And I don't really remember what year it started, but you had a lot of folk from what is it, the Lomax Institute, or whatever it's called, coming down to the Delta, and recording, you feel me, Son House. You feel me? They was recording, Willie McTell and all of them other ones, like around the turn of the century. And they would go back, and the white folks, the white folks up north, you feel me, got a taste of the blues, you feel me, and they said, we want more of it. You dig what I'm saying? And again, you had a lot of black folks from the Delta region going up to Chicago specifically. Matter of fact, there's a whole movie, right? What's that joint called? Cadillac Records. Cadillac Records. If y'all ain't never seen Cadillac Records, it's a biopic about a handful of them. Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Etta James. You understand what I'm saying? And the white folks, you feel me, making a bag off of black art, making a bag off of black expression. You understand what I'm saying? And just assimilating it back into the same way that they did with the Irish. You understand what I'm saying? They took Irish folk music and added little pieces to it and called that bluegrass. You know what I mean? I felt like that the use of vampires, especially old school vampires specifically, that you got to invite in the house. When the white folks was trying to get in, when the white folks was trying to get invited into the club, to me, that was all hip hop. Right there. That was all hip hop to me. Cause you feel me? Because at that point I said, all right, I see where they're going with this. I see what type of time this movie is on. You feel me? because we talk about this all the time, right? Is that it's something about when black folks see white people, with just a little bit of rhythm. Like I hate when I see these videos. I hate when I see well, not to, because I ain't on Twitter no more, but I hate, like, when you see something go viral and you feel me, it's a white girl with a little bit of booty, and she's twerking or she's whining or whatever. And you see all these thirsty niggas in the comments like, oh yeah, Dr. Umar going to have to forgive me. Or, F Dr. Umar, you feel me? All the and whatever. I hate it be, matter of fact, me and Bellamy was talking about this the other day, is that I don't know what it is about niggas and white women, man. I don't know what. Well, I mean, I do. Matter of fact, that was a script that I was halfway working on. I might finish it. I might just finish it. But I don't know what it is with black folks when the one white boy at the party, and he got a little bit of rhythm. He cut a pop lock a little, and they go, oh yeah, go ahead, white boy, yeah, that look at what, play that funky music, white boy. Like, nigga, shut up. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? We see white folks do a little bit of something, and now all of a sudden, we see white folks, they get a fade, right? Now, you might be right. It might be only the lame niggas. It might be, but it happens so much. It's only been recently, you feel me, that I've seen folk actively be like, ain't no cookout invite. Matter of fact, ain't no cookout, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? But I remember in the not too distant past where all you had to do, you feel me, was start pop locking or something. All you had to do, get them a cookout invite. You're invited to the cookout. You understand what I'm saying? You're the letting folk in the house that don't got no business being there to begin with. You can stand out there and get a plate, but nah, nigga, you can't come in the house. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. And what the y'all remember that? Y'all remember the white kappa? Y'all remember? Yeah, and folks still do that. Yeah, for black folks, is way too just because we see somebody acting like a nigga. Now we expect them to move like niggas. You understand what I'm saying? So now we want them to come into our safe space. You feel me? Again, remember, the juke joint historically was like the only safe spot for niggas, especially down south back in that time. You know what I mean? So I thought I thought that I personally, even though it was kind of obvious, I'm not gonna say it was obvious, but it was one of those things that I ain't have to think about. I just kind of clocked off rip just because, you feel me. Again, Hotep Jean, you know what I mean? So it was just one of those things that I kind of clocked. I said, "Oh, all right, I see what y'all doing. Y'all talking about Eminem, ain't you?" y'all talking about Jack Harlow, huh? Because remember just a couple years ago when I won't say every, but a bunch of black girls of a specific age range, low racial self-esteem is a perfect definition for it. You understand what I'm saying? We want so badly for our culture to be accepted. You dig what I'm saying? That when we start seeing them do what we do, now that's validation to us. You dig what I'm saying? It's validating to see a white boy rap. It means that our art has value now. It's validating to see a white girl twerk, because now it's not ghetto. You feel me? You see a white girl throwing ass and it ain't ghetto no more. Now it's just, you feel me? Now it's culture. You know what I mean? But just a few years ago, a bunch of black girls of a certain age was ready to fall on their sword for Jack Harlow. Little white boy with the most soulless raps imaginable. You understand what I'm saying? And we just got a bad habit bad history of doing that. And the thing is that a lot of us don't learn our lesson. You know what I mean? So yeah, there you have that. And one of the points that one of the videos that I'm working on that I'm going to hold until the end of the year is the whole one drop thing. You know, the biracial is not black, which is some internet brain rot BS or whatever and whatnot. And I feel like I forget what old girl's name was in the movie, but Haley Stanfield is like is her character is a case study on part of what I'm going to be talking about in that script. Right. Her name. All right. So her name is Mary. All right. So basically what I get at is that because I talk about, and because I don't want to give too much away in the script, but one of the points that I made in that is that what a lot of folks so I talk about Sally Heming, right? What a lot of folk don't know about Sally Heming is that she probably would have looked like Mary. Just keeping it a buck with y'all. Just keeping it. Sally only had one black grandparent, but she was still a slave. You feel me? Matter of fact, the kids that Sally had with Thomas Jefferson, they were all octoroons. They were all only had one black. They were only 1/8 black, but they still lived as slaves. You feel me? Because legally, whatever your mom was, right? Whatever your mom was, that's what you were. If your mom was born a slave, then you was born a slave. Period. Didn't matter what you look like. Didn't matter if everybody looked at you and said, "Oh yeah, that's a white girl." If your mama was born a slave, then you was born a slave. You dig what I'm saying? Until like the 90s. You feel me? I'm not going to say biracial wasn't a thing, but you were judged by how you moved. You feel me? If you moved like a black person, then you was black. You was nigga. That's all there was to it. If you could pass for white, you feel me? And you moved like you was white, then all right, you out of community with us. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. It wasn't until we started giving folk the option. And this wasn't until the 90s, right? It wasn't until we started giving folk the option of biraciality. You dig what I'm saying? That now all of a sudden now it's biracial, it's not black. And some of you really dumb niggas is, oh well, light skin ain't really black like that. Again, all of that is just y'all don't go outside. Y'all don't go outside enough. That's all that is. Y'all don't go outside enough, and y'all don't know enough, mixed race people, because you would know, you feel me? It's all based on the way that you move. You dig what I'm saying? Exactly. Exactly. It's a bunch of people. Malcolm. Who else I got? What's old nigga name that wrote the book? Escape to Ireland. Y'all know who I'm talking. Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, another one. He not nigga then, because he had a white daddy. You feel me? Bob Marley is another one. You feel me? Huey. You feel me? Y'all, any of y'all from Louisiana, everybody in Louisiana is mixed with something. You know what I mean? So the whole point that I'm getting at is that she's kind of a case study of what I'm talking about. Is that she, despite looking like a white woman, you know what I mean? Despite her looking you could not tell me that that's not I actually I'm lying. I'm like, cause the first time I saw her in True Grit, I kind of looked there and I said, I feel like there's some nigga in there. I feel like there might be some nigga in there, but like we know our kind for the most part. You dig what I'm saying?